Hey everyone, welcome to Garage Talk. As always, I'm Conrad. Let's go.
I'm Ted. It's time to rock and roll.
Hey Teddy, today in the garage we have a couple of Mrs. Sinowal High School teachers. Tracie Speakman, Hanna Kikendall. How we doing, ladies?
Great. Good.
Great, good. You guys are sounding so nervous like a couple of high school kids.
Right. I don't know how I'm feeling. No, this is going to be great. I made sure I listened to the one with Gavin and Nolan and Beans and Deacon, and I was like, okay, if these senior boys can do it, Hanna, Kikendall, and I can do it. We got this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gavin said it was super fun. He did say that today. So.
They had a good time. I looked at Ted and I was like, hey Teddy, I think this one might, we're going to have to coax answers out of them.
Huh.
No.
You've clearly never taught them in a classroom, or you would know that you do not need to coax some answers out of those kids.
No, but we appreciate you ladies coming on. Thank you so much. So give us a little background about yourselves. Let's start with Hanna.
I graduated from Mrs. Sinowal. I grew up here, graduated from Mrs. Sinowal in 1996. And then I went to Indiana State and got a degree in English, and then became a teacher. And I've been at Mrs. Sinowal now since 2016. And I think that's it. Brody talked me into coming back and teaching here.
Well, tell us a little bit about your family. You're married, right?
I am. Steve-O's my husband. That's what all the kids know him as.
Steve-O.
Steve-O. All right.
Steve Kikendall. Yeah, anytime someone's like, oh, Mrs. Kikendall, which one are you married to? That's what I always get. I always tell them I'm married to the nice one because Steve-O's the nicest one.
Oh.
Jack's up there, just kidding.
And you have a daughter, right?
And I have a daughter, Layla. She graduated from Mrs. Sinowal last year, and she is at Aveda Cosmetology School in Indy.
Awesome.
So, yeah, she's doing Carmel, I guess. She's doing fabulous.
Sweet.
And I am not from this area. I actually grew up in Lafayette. I graduated from McCutcheon High School in 2004. I went to Purdue, and then I started off teaching in Greencastle while my husband was in med school. And then when we were looking at residencies and stuff, he actually got matched in Muncie, so I needed a new job. And I knew, it's like a long story, but someone that I knew Tab and Leslie because they grew up here. And then it all kind of just worked out that way. And then when Kyle was done in Muncie, I said, I'm not leaving my job because I love it here. So you're going to either find a job in Marion or you're going to be commuting because I'm not leaving my job. So, and I've been here ever since.
Fantastic.
So for both of you, was it at an early age did you know you wanted to be teachers?
Oh, yeah. Like my whole life, I always wanted to be a teacher. But I did want to be a special ed teacher. That was my goal. And then all I had to do was student teach. And I was like, I think that's just going to be too hard. Like I thought the stuff that I will bring home, like mentally and like with my students, being a special ed teacher would have been too hard for me. Like I already carry home, tons of stuff with the students we have now.
Yep.
So I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. So my parents were really happy when I was like, I think I'm going to be in school for another year and a half. And then I got my degree in English instead of special ed. So, but yeah, I always played school. I love school supplies. So,
when I was younger, I used to I went back and forth. Like every kid wants to be a doctor at one point, and all those types of things. And then as soon as my older stepbrothers and sisters were like, you realize that you have to be in school even longer if you want to be these things. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do until high school. And I had a really awesome English teacher my sophomore year, and that sealed the deal.
Really?
Yeah, she was great. She mentored me. I student taught with her husband actually, and yeah, she just inspired me so much. So, and I was like, done deal, English teacher for me.
See, Conrad, I told you the ladies wear the pants. She didn't want to go to school for 8 years, so she made her husband.
that's a good deal.
You know what? That's very smart.
Very smart.
I will say this: women are probably pretty much smarter than us.
They are.
I don't know. Joe Wells today, Hannah's dad came. We have a dance tonight, actually.
Okay.
And Joe Wells came to help us get everything set up. And we would have been lost without Joe Wells because we were lost. And Joe Wells was like, just do this. And we're like, dang, thanks, Joe.
Yep, and I am 45 years old, and he still is like, Hannah, you're an idiot. Like, I'm a little kid. Like, I'm still trying to help him when I was young, and I'm like,
Hold the flashlight.
Yeah, I was like, yep, I dropped this spool, it went everywhere. He's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, Dad. but yeah, he was a big help.
So with that being said, like, what has been the biggest obstacle in your educational career for you guys?
That's a hard one.
A big obstacle.
I don't know if it's an obstacle for me, but like Hannah said, like we bring like our kids home with us, not literally, but like we bring
that's kind of.
Yeah, we bring their stuff home. Like, I don't know if there's a night that goes by when I don't think about something I did or something I said or something that a kid's going through that they told me that I don't think about. Like, I have an alarm set on my phone every day at 7:15 a.m. to text Kikendall to make sure that he's up in the morning because he is perpetually tardy. Like, and it's not really an obstacle, but it's just something that
I mean, you kind of worry about these kids, correct?
Yeah, like I'm constantly worried about them, and because we want them to be successful in life, and we want them to go on and do the things that they want to do in life. And I think that I go home a lot thinking, what can I do to make sure that I've done everything I can to make sure that they can be what they want to do or be what they want to be.
And like thinking of that, so I taught at Delta for 9 years before I came back here and taught. And when I came back here, I am so naive that I just thought, oh, every family in Gas City is like my mom and dad and how we were, or my husband and Layla and I had no idea what kids in our community are going through, like with their parents or living with their grandparents or not having warm clothes. You know, I don't know why I never saw it before. I was just like, oh, everybody's like me, because that's what I saw. And so I was surprised just at how different it really was that I thought. And Tracie and I were talking today about our food pantry at school. And she said, what was your statistic you gave me?
So please do not anyone yell at me if I get this exact wrong. But at one point in like the recent history, like the past couple years, we're like number 3 in childhood poverty in the state of Indiana. And like, those are things that like, you don't, like our kids don't like, you don't see that, but you do see that at the same time. And so those are just the things that are hard because we want our kids to be great and have great and do great and all those things. And there's just a lot of stuff in their lives that make it hard for them to do those things. So we want to be there for them. So
I believe they're educated where they're at. Like, they're not treated any different. There's still that same expectation. And I personally seen those kids rise to it.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
And it's a lot to do with you guys.
Well, and I feel like our school system, like I said, we have the food pantry, or like Thriving Families comes in and helps on, like, what is it once a month?
Like the food distribution with Second Harvest and Thriving Families once a month. Or
that you can get out of Northfield. Like, I feel like our school system really takes care of our own. Like, as much as we can, you know, like, and we even asked kids when we came back from Christmas break, like, if you're having trouble with heat or you need, like, talk to us so we can help you. We have Wi-Fi that we can help you with. Like, the school does such a good job at helping
resources.
Everybody in our community. Yeah.
You know, and like they said, you know, you guys touched on it. You know, there's, I don't know what the percentage is, but how many of these kids are coming from a single parent home?
For sure.
And the majority is probably with mom, or like you said, there's some live with their grandparents.
Yeah.
And you know, the poverty level, they go to school, that's probably the best meals they're going to get that day.
Yeah. Right. And we're lucky because we still have free lunch and breakfast. So
yeah, I just think there's a lot, like, not coming from this community, like, it's awesome to see, because I grew up in Lafayette, so like I knew like my 20 friends, and that's about it, because it's so big. And even when I taught in Greencastle, it's just the Gas City community is just, it's so awesome. And Kyle and I talk all the time, like, people will ask us, like, why do you live in why do you live in Gas City? Why do you live in Grand County? Like, those types of things. And it's because of the people here, like, because we will, like, everyone takes care of everyone.
Right. Yeah.
Like, the day, like, last year when there was, like, the tornado that, like, went, like, right by our houses,
Right here.
right? Like, we were still on spring break, and we woke up to, like, 10 different text messages from people saying, is your house okay? Do you need to check on our, like, and it's that kind of stuff that's like, dang, like, this would not have happened in Lafayette. This would not have happened in most places, and it's just awesome. Like, that's why we love living here, and that's why I told Kyle, like, no, you're coming here. Yeah.
And it is, but it starts from the top down. I mean, I tell people all the time, I said, our administration, the board, the administrators at the schools, and then the teachers. You know, it's, you guys are heroes. That's...
Thanks. No, it's weird.
You guys' heart breaks for these kids, and that's great to see.
Yeah, and going back to the obstacle, you guys going home, and how many kids do you have in your classes throughout the day, would you say?
I think I have 120.
I have like
well, I don't know with the new
I don't know. 100 over 100 plus.
Okay. So
I feel like maybe that's something we should know. But if you count all the random kids that just come and visit us, I couldn't even tell you. Like kids that aren't ours are ours.
Yeah.
You know, once you've had us, you're ours. I mean, if we holler at you in the hallway, you're ours. Like. Yeah, they come in for lotion, snacks.
Lotion.
Yeah, random stuff. Like,
hey, my
tied to go pin.
You get to school, you got those ashy hands, you got to get them right. So they come and see me.
Like chapstick.
Yeah, no, I literally have like
students.
I have a Preston chapstick.
I like using my chapstick, but here you can use that.
Yeah, no, I have a Preston one in my drawer. I have a Deacon one. Like, you can just keep them. Like, they just stay right there, and you know it's yours.
Yeah. That way they don't lose them throughout the day. Because mine always ended up in the wash.
Oh, fun fact. I don't know, but I feel like this is a fun fact. I've never used an entire chapstick.
Me either.
Never.
All the way down to
no. But I have like 30, like I'm buying them like I use them to the end, but I don't.
Well, me either.
That's like a goal in my life. I'm going to try it.
Chapstick has really cornered the market on, we know people aren't going to keep these.
No, they're really not.
They're pretty, it's just a thing of wax, isn't it?
I don't know what it is.
There's Mama Pearson when you need her.
Right.
Yeah,
we got one in your car, got in my classroom. We have them everywhere.
Yeah, and when you go to CVS,
they're right there.
And they have new flavors, so you have to get the new flavors.
Man,
I don't know. My wife's only got one kind she uses. I can't even remember what it is, but if she told me to go get it, I wouldn't know. I'd probably buy the generic Dollar General stuff.
My oldest is into this Aquaphor or something.
Oh yeah, I think it's a TikTok thing.
Yeah, she's like, she put it on her tattoo. She's put it on her face. She puts it on her lips. Like this, it's like she's like it's an all-purpose. I was like, I don't know. I'm a cherry chapstick, dude.
Yeah. The only time I had to use it was when I got like this little spot of pre-cancer stuff cut off my leg. So it stresses me out. I'm like, that reminds me of that hole I had.
But I want to touch on what you were saying about the community. I mean, I ran into a couple the other night at a local establishment here, and they had moved here from New Palestine, and they moved to Fairmount, but they like to come over here, and that's what they said. They said this community is just. They said we can't believe we didn't do it sooner. From when they lived in New Pal.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and I love it here. And it's so, like, when I tell my students that, like, it's a lot of times my students, because I don't think they know they know that they have a supportive community, but they also say, like, I don't want to come back here, but it's like, no, like, when you're 23, 24, I think you'll realize that, like, no, this is really a great community, to come back, like, because I know, like, it's nice to know people. It's nice that you know people have your back or anything.
Well, and we need those kids. Gavin Blake, I was talking to him the other day, and I said something about, like, yeah, we need you to come back here. We need you to come be a math teacher here or an engineer here or whatever it is that you decide you want to do.
Yep.
you're the kind of people we need to come back to our community.
Yep, that's true.
So
I would love to see the stats on the kids that go off to college and return.
Yeah, because
I know that Indiana has like the highest rate of returning resident citizens?
Sure. People?
Population. I don't know. Yeah, human beings that come back to home. But I wonder what it is here.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting.
Curious.
I came back. I wasn't planning on coming back, but look, I mean, you just do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Southside girl.
Yes. Yeah. Lived right on Southeast Street.
Yeah,
I think the house that lived next to me is like burned down now. There's a garage.
That's funny. That's something I didn't know. Like, so when I first got hired, it was like in the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Potter was the principal. And so I came in over the summer. He gave me my keys so I could move my stuff in. And then he was like, well, like, we're asking like where I'm living, like if Kyle and I were going to move here. And I was like, well, we have to be in Muncie for now. And he was like trying to explain to me like the different areas of Gas City. And I was like, I didn't remember any of it. But then like I've stayed here longer. It's just funny to hear how different for such a small community, like how there's just almost different like areas within that small community.
I'm a D Street kid.
D Street kid, yeah.
D Street.
You were North D though.
Yeah. West Side. West North D. I mean, yeah, but yeah.
You still got that swag sometimes, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know when to shut up. So, from the time you first came in as teachers, how have the students changed? Is there a big difference in your teaching style with the students you have now versus the students you had when you first started?
My very first job was at Northside Middle School in Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like a 15-year-old 8th grader. I had kids that were robbing banks. And I was a first-year teacher. I was just trying to survive. I don't know what I taught them. I just went with it. I'm like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And so I feel like I started off with kind of rough kids, but I feel like my philosophy in general has changed so much the older I get. And I feel like people think the older you get, the grouchier you get. Like with kids, you know what I mean? Because you're always like, oh, that new generation, this and that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I feel like I'm such a more flexible, easygoing teacher now than I was my first year or even like my first 5 years because I wanted everything to be so perfect. I wanted it to go just right. Like now I'm like, oh, this happened. Okay, we're going to learn from this, and this is a life lesson now. Like, it's so much easier for me to veer away from what my type A personality was before. Like, no, I have to do this, this, and this. And it's like, no, I'm much more flexible and easygoing than I was at the beginning for myself. And kids-wise, I don't know. I don't know that they're really that different other than technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they just are so distracted. And I get it.
Like, I'm distracted. Like, I don't know how many times my friggin' fat wrist will, like, hit my Siri on my Apple Watch, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, I realize it, and then I get distracted because I have Siri on my watch. Like, it's just, oh, gosh.
See?
I know. See? It's just happening right now. But I think that, and because I think we're all just more distracted now because of technology.
Our
and
attention spans.
it's just, it just decreases. Yeah, for sure. And so if I, as a 38-year-old, am getting distracted, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, like, and I think that we've both, like, as long as you recognize that, you just have to adjust to what you're doing, and give some kids some grace. We talk a lot about that. Like, give kids grace. They're going through stuff. Like, they're going through life stuff. They're going through hormone stuff. Like, they're going through everything.
Yeah.
Well, and seniors in high school, you're 17. Even if you're 18 years old, you're still a kid.
Right.
These are kids we're
I think
dealing
you're a
with.
kid until you're 25.
Sometimes I still feel like a kid. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So sometimes, it's like, don't act like that. Well, they don't.
Yeah.
They're doing what they do. Like, you just have to. Yeah.
So, when you say give them grace, I feel like that's as times went on. Like I don't know if I remember, and I had some great teachers. I feel like they were in that mindset. Hey, let's but I had some teachers that there was no mercy, no grace given. Are more and more teachers going along that, hey, listen, we need to understand these kids, we don't know what's going on at home. Because I feel like I hear that a lot more now, Teddy, than I have in the past. We don't know what's going on at home.
Yeah, for sure. I think we talk a lot about staff meetings and our PLCs, or professional learning groups that we have every week. Like, we talk a lot about that. Like, if we're looking at test scores, like this is one test on one day. This kid may have worked until midnight the night before, and then he came in to take this test or do something like that. And so I know at least at the high school level, like our administrators do a good job of talking about it in terms of like, yeah, like the state might look at this test score and these tests and these things, but we as a community and we as administrators, like we know that these kids are real people and they're going through stuff, or they woke up, their parent was yelling at them, or they didn't eat breakfast that morning. Like, you know what I mean? Just all these different types of things. So I think that overall, like everyone in our building does a really good job of like giving kids grace and giving kids opportunities and giving kids the chance to have a day. Like sometimes like a kid just needs to go cry, or
Are you good at spotting it? Like,
I'd love to say I am, but I don't know.
like I can tell that.
I mean, like, especially your students, you can tell when they're having a bad day, or if they're off. And like, I've done that before where I've called home and been like, something's not right with your kid, and I don't know what it is, but you might want to talk to him. And a lot of times, I mean, and I'm thinking of one kid in particular, and this parent was just like, thank you so much, because I've been thinking that, but I didn't know how to approach it or what to do. And I was like, no, I have noticed.
Wow.
And it helped them open up that conversation, and then I could kind of say something too. But yeah, I mean, and even just standing in the hallways, and the kids that we don't have, but it's the same kids that walk by you every day. So you know how they act, and you can tell if they're having an off day or if they're looking scowly or whatever it is. And I mean, we are like cheerful voices in the hallway usually. It's like, hey, I don't know. I mean, she's yelling.
I am so yelling.
But they know that she's still somebody that, like, they can stop and talk to, you know what I mean? Like, we're just always, hey, how's it going? Have a good day, blah, 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 going down the hallways. I had to move to a new hallway this year, and they're like, it's a lot louder down here now. Because I'm always in the hallways yelling at somebody.
Yeah, we're always yelling. Like, kids is like freshmen and sophomores, because I only have juniors and seniors, and so kids as freshmen and sophomores, like I think they're kind of scared of me, and then they like will actually come and have my class, and they'll be like, I thought you were really scary, and it's like, no, I just yell, like I just yell.
No, she's not mean, she's just yelling.
I just yell a lot.
I'm just loud in general. Like my mom, even today, like this day when we sit beside each other, she's always like, Hannah, can you stop being so loud? Like, no, I can't. This is just how I am.
Dang. Who said her dad was getting on her earlier, so.
I know, I'm telling you, it's rough.
Now, I do have a question, though. Okay, let's go. What is the difference between your students now? Okay, we had the COVID shutdown. Before, how are they now? Have you seen any kind of a difference? I'd rather just stay home and do my work, or?
Our virtual numbers have gone up, but then right after they went up pretty high. I feel like they've kind of evened out a little more now. I don't know how many kids we have virtual, but we still have kids that elect to go virtual.
I took some virtual college classes.
It's hard.
There's no way. I gotta be in the room.
Oh,
because I gotta raise my hand. Could you repeat that?
Yeah. And I can't learn. Tracie and I both present on Zoom meetings.
And it's horrible. Like, it's awful.
I'm not a good Zoom teacher, right? Like, so, and I'm really not a good Zoom student.
Oh,
Because
God.
I'll be like, I'm turning this camera off and I'm not watching either. Because you know that's what those kids are doing. But if I were a kid, that's what I would
That's
be doing.
totally what I would do.
Like, I'm trying to wash the dishes and do this other stuff while somebody's talking to me. So, yeah, for sure. In-person learning, it's where it's at.
They need the social interaction.
I think they really
Yes.
do. And there was a while, like, I feel like, not the fall of 2020, but I feel like that next school year, I do feel like there was like a hot second where kids really kind of did forget how to interact with others. Just because I think they were so not used, like, it was so foreign to them, especially kids that were virtual that school year, when a lot of kids were virtual and they came back in person the following year.
Yep.
I mean, that's a hard transition to make. And I mean, I even struggled coming back to school and like, wait, what? Like, how am I supposed to interact with people? And like, you would think that I would have been done learning how to do that, but
But like you said, you guys talk about technology. You know, I'm the senior citizen here, so because I don't know what you guys probably know, but when did technology take over like it has? Because I can when I'm in school,
It happened fast.
it's so
the
fast.
teachers are their chalkboard is full, and you have to write all that down before you leave that class that day. That's your notes. That's how you study for your test. Now they're taking these MacBooks or whatever.
I couldn't
home.
even tell you the last time I
When?
filled up a full chalkboard with notes.
No.
So
I didn't even know if they had chalkboards anymore.
Yeah, so when I was taking these classes, and they would write on that dry erase board, I just take my phone and go into my notes.
That's what a lot of
and
kids do.
scan the document, and there, right from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, that's what a
Well,
lot
and
of
I'll
kids
even
do.
we'll even tell them, like, go ahead and get your phone out and take a
Like,
picture
take a
of this.
picture of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is like, it's really kind of nice on the one hand, because like it is allowing kids to like pay attention to like when we're saying things as opposed to trying to write stuff down.
Right.
But then it's also hard because like a phone is a distraction, right? And it's hard to find that balance as teachers, like between the real world of like your phone is a part of your life,
Yep.
but you also like, how do I teach kids? And I still struggle with this. If someone has the answer, like email me or find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
But like how do I as a teacher teach them how to navigate the adult world of having phones?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I haven't figured
Well,
it
and
out
even
yet.
just like the social, I don't know, not manners. I don't know what I'm trying
They're
like.
constantly connected, Hannah.
Yeah.
Well, and if I'm like right now,
Yeah.
we're here having this conversation and I don't have my phone out, right? A kid would have it there, they'd be checking it, like they don't understand. I mean, this is gonna be an hour. Like I can put it away for an hour. I still have my watch on, it'll tell me, but they just need it close. Like, or if I'm out to dinner, or if I'm in a meeting with somebody, sure, you can check it because I
Right.
feel like that is socially acceptable, but not constant, like still show the person you're with
Yeah.
that they are important.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there's not a etiquette class on cell phone. Don't go into an interview and update your status in an interview about to nail this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Selfie with your,
Yeah.
Your prospective employee or employer.
Employer super cringe.
Don't get him going.
yes, you sound like you are a high schooler. You got this.
Yeah, it all that stuff is it. I don't know.
He's woke. Is that one of the words?
Yeah, but
You're well informed, right?
yeah, I like to think so too. But I mean, that's me just bragging on myself. But yeah, I mean, they need to know when, like at dinner, it'd be nice to not have to tell you
Right.
that you don't need to take a picture of mom's meatloaf. Everybody knows what meatloaf looks like.
And I don't need to see all those pictures of meatloaf, right? Like, you don't want to see that.
You know what no one ever sends? A picture of an empty plate.
There you go.
That will tell me how good that food
How
is.
good that, like a before and after.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, you know I clean my plate.
Right. Yeah, I'm always cleaning my plate. Yeah,
So-
but I agree, and it's hard. I think that, like, you're talking about an obstacle earlier, like kind of how we started that out, and I think that is an obstacle for me as an individual teacher, as teaching them that balance between having your phone, like trying to figure that out, because I don't know.
And because it is a tool and a resource, I don't know how many times we'll have a paper, because I like paper and pencils. We'll have a paper and they'll be answering a question. They'll be like, Kikendall, what's this word? I'm like, I don't know, Google it. I mean, I know you expect me to know every word in the English language, but I don't. So a student will get their phone out, Google it, and then we'll teach the class the word, and then I'll write it down so I learn it too. But it's so easy.
Yeah.
And so you hate to act like we want a whole cell phone ban, right? Because I saw like legislation is trying to change to where we're banning cell phones.
Yeah.
But
I've been watching that.
Right.
I've been watching.
So I'm like, I just don't see, because they are good.
Right.
You just have to figure out what it is.
I would love to bump into Mrs. Lloyd, our algebra teacher.
I always heard she rode a Harley.
I always heard that too.
So I would like to know.
Because I remember her saying, Mr. Herrera, you are not going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time.
Yeah, you do.
Wrong.
Right.
That didn't age well.
That's funny.
But anyways, with the technology constantly moving, are you able to like write in cursive anymore and then be able to read it?
You got this one, Hannah.
Or are they Google taking a picture of it and Google Translate?
Well, I have a kid last year that when I would write in cursive, he would say, I can't read curly writing.
Curly?
I'm like, it's cursive. What? So I always have my parents fill out, you filled this out for Savannah back in the day, a paper that's like, how will you know your student is successful in my class at the end of the year? And I have had, in the past couple of years, I've had multiple parents say, my kid can write their name in cursive. So I'm like, okay, so I print the pages off the internet and they practice their names.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes our boards are
Tracie,
full of student signatures, because they love practicing writing their names now.
Really?
Yeah, so there are a handful of senior boys that are killing the cursive name game.
Although it's also funny because like we have dry erase boards, right? And so they'll write it on dry erase board and it's like so smooth, right? Because you're just writing it, and then they'll do it on a paper and they'll be like, that does not look as good. And I was like, well, you're not using a dry erase board.
But they have been practicing for 2 years. They're really good. But I am thinking about doing my bell ringers next year and having them do a letter. But I'm a nerd. I like to write and I like to do that stuff. So to me, that's fun.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, that's teacher fun, Kikendall. That is not fun. But
I have mad respect for someone with exquisite penmanship.
Me too.
When their R's have that little...
Like,
I am a great,
Yeah.
I have great handwriting.
Yeah.
I will
horrible
say I have great handwriting.
I remember
But you're a lefty.
I am a lefty.
Mr.
And
Fezziman,
Like this.
no, I didn't.
my English teacher, always complimented me on my signature because I have like this huge C. I just swoop it. I was like, man, I want people to be like, hey, this dude, he kind of likes his name.
That's a good way to think about it, though. Like, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
What? Who's your bell ringers? What's a bell ringer?
Oh, so like at the beginning of class, you give them something to do for like 5 minutes while you can take attendance.
Okay.
Which I am terrible at taking attendance. I get it in there, but not in like the first 5 minutes when I should be. But that's what it is. Just something to get them started.
Okay.
And they're in their seats working.
So they're not running around like hooligans.
She said bell ringer, and it took me back to my days at Westview Elementary School, where you go out to recess and the teacher's got the bell
Ring
and
the
it's time to
bell.
line up.
I remember being on the merry-go-round and kids yelling faster. I like,
Yes.
okay, I'm see ADHD is going everywhere.
No, that East School
Kickball.
playground was where it was
Oh,
at.
yeah, faster.
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would be in the middle scared though. You know I was not one of the, I was not running and doing the pushing.
Yeah.
Or what about the gates?
Yeah.
Like they would knot, every kid had a knot on their forehead from that gate.
Those things were not safe for us to be using.
How many kids broke their arm on the monkey bars?
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah.
How many times you go down the fire escape at that school?
Oh man.
Never, but I wanted to.
Yeah, that thing did look fun, didn't it?
Yeah.
They had one at JC Knight too.
Yeah.
They did. They did.
Yeah, I always wanted to.
JC night. Yeah.
They had a haunted attic at JC Knight.
I think they were all haunted.
It had that attic there was a basketball court up there back in the day.
I
That's where
always
they
heard
played.
that. I always heard that.
It's
Always
weird.
heard that. So let's go back to what we were previously talking about, the difference between kids. What about their mental health? Where's mental health in education today? Because me and Ted, you know, we talk about mental health with our backgrounds in youth sports, and we've seen it. Kids, we try and give them the benefit of the doubt, but kids are different mentally than I remember, when I was a kid.
Well, I also think that we're thankfully out of trying to get out of the just suck it up era. You know, like when we were kids, it was like, get over it, you're fine, suck it up. And you just did, but it didn't mean you were okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So
Don't talk about it.
Right, we're not going to talk about it, and you'll get over it.
I know, like, because I think about that, like, a lot. Like, we talk, like, with both Hannah and I, we've touched on it, right? Like, we can tell if a kid's having a bad day or something like that. And I do feel like students' mental health has changed. Even since I first started teaching, I think kids are more,
Stressed?
Yeah, I think, I think they are more stressed. I think that and this again goes, I think, back to technology a little bit. They're constantly inundated with either people sending snaps, or like even just seeing celebrities or influencers on TikTok or anything like that. Like, I know that it affects me. Like, if I see someone and I'm like, dang, like, why can't I look like that? Or why can't I have this life? Or why can't I have this or that? Or, and you know what I mean? And I can only imagine what it's like for kids who are constantly, like, because they're on their phone more than I am, and they're on TikTok more than I am. Like, they're on all of these things all the time, and I can't see how that wouldn't negatively impact how you feel about yourself and your own life.
And that's not even like a personal bullying or a personal, these people are attacking me. This is just your everyday stuff that you're seeing.
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
I want my feed to be full of puppies, and it's not. Like,
Yeah.
but so I think that and that's the other thing. Like, at the beginning of my career, we're talking about like how things have changed. Like I had a pretty hard life growing up, and and I was like, I see kids who are in a similar situation to I was when I was growing up, and at the beginning of my career, I'm like, why are you being like this? Like, I wasn't like this. And that was immaturity on my part as a first, second, third year teacher. And I think that we as teachers just need to be more empathetic and sympathetic with our students, because even though that was my life and that's how I had to get through life, like, that doesn't mean that that's how you should have to get through life. There are better ways now. Or maybe not now, they were then, but no, we just didn't talk about them.
Well, I always tell my kids too, like, people act like, oh, well, you're just in high school, like, it can't be that bad, or your heartbreak's not that bad, or these friend things aren't that bad. Like, no, you can probably tell me something from high school that is a core memory, of someone that was mean to you, or a girl that broke your heart, or whatever. Those feelings are very real in those kids.
Yep.
So I try to validate that, because I always tell them about the dumb stuff I did, because I'm like, learn from me. Here's like, you're supposed to be life ready when you get out of here, so learn from my dumb things, right? And that's what I tell them. There are a lot of things from high school. Don't let any grown-up tell you, oh, that's not that big of a deal, get over it, because it's not, because I'm still, we hold trauma from high school still.
Right.
I mean, maybe y'all cool dudes don't, but I
remember.
Hey, we're in the same class, and a couple of my friends and I were talking about this. I was so embarrassed, and I explained this to Dee. I was so embarrassed, Ted, in middle school and high school, because the lunch ladies, at that time, they weren't, they would say free or reduced.
Right.
When you went up there with your tray. And I was a free kid. And I used to be so embarrassed throughout the school year to say I'm free. And it didn't matter if the kid behind me was free too. It didn't.
Yeah.
And it always bothered me. But when we got to high school, we had this one lunch lady who was the grandmother of a classmate of ours. She knew, like, it embarrassed some of the kids, so she wouldn't do that. She just knew. She'd just check mark your name.
That's awesome.
And but that kind of stuff sticks with you. And, you know, I think we got to allow kids to feel what they're feeling, even though you want to say, hey, 10 years from now, and none of this shit's going to matter.
Yeah, and it does. I don't know how many
Yes.
times I will tell kids, like, things that happened to me, because I was not the popular kid. Like, I was a theater nerd. Like, I was not, I wasn't athletic. I wasn't the smartest kid. I wasn't any of those things. And I don't know how many times I will tell kids, like, hey, like, you doing this to this kid, like, you are the kid that I still don't like. And I've been out of high school for 20 years. Like, if I think of that kid, like, I don't like them. They might be a great person now as a 38-year-old, but in my head, they're still a 17-year-old, and they were mean to me. Right. And I don't want you to be that kid. I don't want you to have a peer who 20 years from now thinks that you are the biggest jerk because you were when you were a senior in high school. Because it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good to be made fun of.
Yeah. Do you take an apology from that person?
Oh, I don't know. I am glad that I do not live.
Sorry.
You don't have to run into any. I don't run into any of them.
That doesn't live rent free in your head.
No, it doesn't. And maybe I need to, like, maybe that's a character flaw of mine. But
I'm a grudge holder. I'm a Gas City grudge.
Yeah.
I don't believe in karma.
Yeah.
And I just don't want any of my kids, because they're my kids. Like, I don't have kids, like, of my own. So all of my students are they're mine. And I don't want any of them to grow up and see someone in passing and then think, you were a jerk to me. And they'll still
like that.
Yeah. Because I was the kid that I would look at them and, like, if someone just randomly came back, I don't know why you would come. I don't know why anyone.
Your phone rings.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Or if I see them if they're my.
the guy on Billy Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Off the wall.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
The lipstick.
Yeah. I don't want any of my kids to be the person that people don't like as adults.
Yeah.
Well, like you said about, like, when people are like, oh, it's only 10 years of your life, this and that. And I think, like, being a parent of a kid that was in high school,
Yes.
it was so hard.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm trying to tell her, like, sis, it's just this short amount of time. And it was an awful amount of time for her. But something that I had read in some teacher development book, and I've never done it, but I really want to, because I feel like I'm visual, and I just feel like this is a cool thing. So you go to the football field, and your kids start at the 1 yard line, and you're like, okay, step out to your age. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking to the 16, 17 yard line. Like, look, this is the short amount of life you've had. Look at all this that's in front of you.
That's
powerful.
And then I'm going to walk my old self to the 45 yard line. But, like, look at the big chunks. Like, if you're looking at the football field of life, high school's,
wow, that's
Dude, I like that.
well, I stole it from some book. That's not my own thoughts,
awesome.
but I want to use that. I just haven't. So, Tracie, that should be our end of the year.
That's a good end of the year thing.
Football field of life.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, see, you could do
I
that.
like
You
that.
could have somebody stop at the 16-yard line, and then I could walk out and go clear to the opposite.
Yeah,
corner.
we'll invite you on that day.
He's going downfall. He's going down.
And
so.
just wave at him like this.
No, and then you can be like, no, this is the good life down here. You'll make it here, right? Like,
Yeah,
you'll
see that?
get
Yeah,
there.
that's
That's a great.
So-
You
that
guys
would be
need
good
to-
to do after the AP test.
That's what I think we should do.
You guys need
Okay.
to do
And
that.
because I've been wanting to do it for years, and I just haven't, so here's our
Here's our thing.
commitment.
Yeah,
to
and it's on air, right?
do.
So now everyone who listens to this will be
They're
like,
They're
yeah.
like be
Yeah, they're gonna
waiting
expect
for the end of the
this.
school year to
This
see
is
how
like
this turns
this is our
out.
pinky promise to everyone.
I'm like, gosh, remember when Kikendall and Speakman said they were going to do this?
And then they did, because we definitely will. Now we will.
Should we make a little commercial about that and run it every week?
It could be a to-do.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, when you guys do this, if you want us to, we'll come out and witness it and
Okay, there's a
put
little
it on the
accountability.
YouTube.
Hey, and you can interview some
channel.
of our students.
Yes.
Yeah, accountability for us. I like
There you
it.
go.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just something I've just noticed about you guys. You guys take ownership of the students that you teach, like,
They're ours.
and you're holding yourself accountable. Like, I want to teach these guys, not just the education part, but the life lesson part of it.
Yeah, I don't like if they don't pass my AP Lit test, like it's okay because I like it's one test we talked about earlier, right? But if I can have a kid come back in September and say, Speakman, I'm the only kid in my English class in college that knows how to write a thesis statement because of you.
Wow.
Like that's enough.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. Yep.
Like that's enough. Or yeah. That's the
just
best
the
part about being a
growth.
teacher.
Right, like you said, whether they pass your test at the end or not, you know from the first day of school when they came in, they're better than when they
Yes.
started. You know, or not, maybe not better. They're more educated, like, and in life, you know, and in school. Because does anybody really need Shakespeare? Like,
No.
No, I'm an English teacher. Do people just come to me on the street and ask me a Shakespeare question? Have I been on Jeopardy? No. So, like, I don't need Shakespeare. But the lessons that we get from reading the story, could it be any story? Sure. But the lessons that they get from that, that's what we're trying to teach them. You know, not necessarily
The bigger
you need
picture.
to know Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Or
But
even
you need to know, like, this is life.
yeah, I even think of like some of our students who, I don't know, like this senior class, like they're pretty special to me. I love them, I love them so much. I think about the lessons that they talk about, like Mr. Herring teaching them, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, I don't think that most kids are going to use calculus in their like careers. I know I never did. Like, I'm never going to need calculus.
When's the last time you used algebra?
Well, I do help a lot of kids with algebra, so.
But I mean,
No, but
were
in my
you
life,
like, hey,
no.
I've got to catch this train,
No.
leaving at this speed, and I got to be here at this time.
If you asked me that right now, how to do that problem, I'd be like, I don't know.
I got
let
to
me
cancel
Google it.
out all my variables.
Yeah. No, right? We don't
No, I
do
do
stuff
that
like
backwards
that.
math. Like, okay, well, I have to leave here at 10, so I got to get up at 9, or so I got to get in the shower at
That's me.
9:15. Like, that's my math. That's the math I
But
got.
like Mr.
Alright.
Herring, like he teaches them, like he's taught them to the value of hard work.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that as educators, that's what we need to think about. Like, yeah, my content's important to me, but it's not important to all my kids. Like, my kids don't need to know iambic pentameter, but they do need to know about how to write or how to even speak fluently, right? Like that's what what I need to
Enunciate.
enunciate. Yeah.
And like Hannah said, you know, you can tell in the beginning of the year, but part of you guys' job is to make them kids believe in themselves.
I think that's a
That they
big
can
part of
do
our
it.
job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
How
it's
hard is
crazy.
that?
Oh, so hard.
It is.
I'm sure that's
I have well, he's not a student anymore, but like anytime he would talk to me, he would start to explain, and then he'd be like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, you know,
You
like
do know.
use your words. You can tell me, you know, but I just don't think he thought he could.
Right.
You know, I'm like, no, you got this. And I say dumb stuff all the time, so don't worry. Like if I don't get it, somebody else might. Like, but yeah, just the confidence. And sometimes even if you're like, ooh, I don't know, this might be slim. I mean, I don't know. It never hurts because they're going to be better. Any
Yeah.
little bit is going to be better.
And I think that Hannah and I really complement each other in that regard is because she has most of the students as sophomores and juniors, and then I have them as juniors and seniors. And since we're such good friends and such good colleagues, like we see that growth. Like we see it over the span of those 3 to 4 years because we teach the same kids essentially, and then we'll talk about them, and then I can see them, and then I'll tell her how it's going, and then she's like, oh my god, like
Yeah, she'll be like, oh, so-and-so just wrote this essay, come and look at it. And I'm like, oh, they couldn't even write a sentence when I had it. I'm like, look, you know.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's-
we're nerds too. Because that sounds like such a nerdy thing, but
No, but I get what
We
you're,
do.
No, I get what you're saying.
Well, you guys probably see that like in youth sports and stuff. Like a kid who thinks that they can't field a ball. I don't know why that. I don't really know anything about sports, but like.
No, it's a good
and then
analogy. Start of it. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. No, I don't know if I can finish it out now, but like, or they can't throw a ball from first base to back to the pitcher, and then by the end of the year they're able to. Like that's just how it is for us. Like, if I can get a kid to throw from first base to back to the pitcher when they couldn't at the beginning of the year, I did my job.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I did my job.
and because everybody is going to be different. You might only learn to throw to first base, but this kid might be. Baseball's
yeah.
definitely.
I'm
not
sorry.
my
I'm sorry. That was a
Throwing from the outfield too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so, and you can't judge one kid based on your other kids, you know,
Right,
because
yeah.
everybody, your best moment is not going to be as great as, this kid or as, you know, so.
Well, like you guys touched on earlier, I mean, you know, they're 17, they're 18, but they're still kids.
Still kids.
And some of these kids mature mentally later than others. Than
Oh,
their
yeah.
peers.
Are you pointing at me? Because I was raising my own hand. Yeah,
I wasn't 40
I was a better student at 40 than I was
Absolutely.
at 16.
I mean, and that's just light, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I think I was a better student in high school than I was in college, but that's just I don't know why. Because I had nerdy friends in high school, and then in college I didn't. So.
Yeah, I was definitely better. Well, I've been to college a lot. So I was like my first time when I got my bachelor's degree and my parents were paying for it and it was, young, Indiana State, good times. I wasn't that good of a college student. But then when I grew up and I got my master's from Indiana Wesleyan and I had to pay for it, straight A's, baby, straight A's.
So when you've got, because you
Right,
do
'cause you
that
foot the bill, right? It's different.
Whenever you pay for something, you take more pride in it. Even as a child, you know,
Yeah.
when I would collect pop bottles to go up to Handy Andy and get myself a candy bar.
Chappies.
No, that's Circle K now.
Circle K.
I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of us still call it handy.
Or a little tear. Anyways, but you know, I was like, man, I did this for 45 minutes for a Snickers. I was pretty hyped about it, and I got a pack of Hubba Bubba at that time. You could do both. Yeah, not now, but you know, I can tell it's about your content that you deliver to these kids because that's how they look at everything now is content, and I see a lot of people add fluff around the content just for showmanship.
No.
And they don't understand that these kids, they're, and now it's even leaked into adults, our attention spans, we're goldfish. Get to it, show us what we need to know so we can keep it going, keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm not I used to think I'd be the teacher that had like all the cute work, like cute thing, like, and I get like, I have some cute things, but like, it's so much work. Like, I don't know how teachers have cute stuff.
Elementary teachers, hats
shout
off
out
to you. You change those bulletin boards.
I was going to say, decorating their
Decorate
classroom.
my
classroom. No,
gosh.
like, it's
Mine
like-
has ketchup on the wall from a kid that threw a ketchup packet and itched the other day. Like, it's still probably on the wall. Like, I haven't even wiped it off.
Now it's become a science lesson. Look, it's
Right,
going
we're just gonna see how long
So
it stays
things get
there.
more-
Like, you're changing their stuff on a regular. It is looking good. I'm not doing that stuff in high school.
Yeah. Well, and if I've learned as I've gotten older, and I think, Hannah, you're still learning this, I think, because you keep telling me, like, to tell you to say no to things.
Yes.
But, like, if
Do you
I...
have a problem saying no?
Yes, I do.
We were actually, what was
She
it?
just said yeah.
At freshman orientation, we had freshman orientation, and it was actually super cool. It was more open house style. And it
was very cool.
It was super cool. And we had some community partners come in, and Hannah wanted to do something this summer, and she's like, oh, I need to talk to them because I want to do that this summer. And I was like, Hannah, no. And Rachel Resch, Mrs. Resch, she was standing right by us, and she kind of looked at me like, did you just tell her not to do, like, and I was like, no, Hannah literally just told me that I need to tell her to say no to things. Like, she says yes to everything.
So today, we had to go decorate for the dance at 10. We had this at 1. There was a basketball game. We got to go back to the school at 8 o'clock tonight. Rich Benjamin, yesterday in the workroom, he's like, hey, do you think you could do tickets for the basketball game? And I was like, well, like what time? And he was like, well, it'd be like 10:30 to here. And I said, I don't think I can squeeze it in. I was like, I was trying to figure out like how, and then I was like, no, like I just can't like. That's
so
normally
you're listening.
Yeah, well, because normally, like, and she does say yes. I do. Somebody asks me to do something at school, like, yeah, sure. And my kid's graduated now, so I'm like, yeah, like, what do you need? I'll do it.
Yeah, but I think that going back to
You always
like,
at school too, Conrad? You always doing what those?
He don't know how to say no.
it's hard because you want
You don't either. It's a pot calling the kettle black.
right. That is kind of true. Like
I mean, yeah, because you guys are always like Tracie had said earlier, with youth sports, you're going to go if somebody needs a ref. You're going to go if you don't have anything else going on, because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it?
Right.
And so you want it to be done well, so you're going to go do it.
Yeah. And that's how we are. But if I'm deciding between changing a bulletin board, which I don't because, bulletin boards, or watching a kid's basketball, like going to a student's basketball game to cheer him on, like I'm going to go to the basketball game.
See, that is so cool that you guys show up for these kids.
We've braved some rough
Oh
weather.
my gosh! Do you remember when we went to Northridge? Was it Northridge?
Whoa.
Was that up north? Is that
Closer.
regional game a couple years ago?
I don't know, but it was cold.
It was snowy, rainy,
and snowy.
It was horrible.
Our umbrellas were whacking people.
It was so bad. It was miserable. And then we lost, and like kids are crying, and that is the worst part of being a teacher is seeing senior boys cry when their seasons are over. That breaks my heart. That's why they just always have to win. Like, I just want them to keep winning so I don't have to see them cry. It's bad.
Well, and that's hard for a parent too. Seeing the last time they're going to do something.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
They're talking about their umbrellas whacking somebody behind them. You're probably sitting there thinking, man, I wish it was that kid that picked on me in high school.
Why can't they be one of my students?
I'm whacking with that umbrella.
You know, I could have swore I seen you guys at the sectional softball championship.
We were there.
At York or Delta?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like,
great.
You guys
I mean,
were standing on some.
we were like behind because they were like it was packed.
Yeah.
And
And you know, there a good setup over there?
there was like hardly any seating, so we sat like I think on the soccer bleachers.
or the football field.
Or the
Yeah, the
football-
bleachers,
something
yeah.
like in the outfield though, because there was no. By the time we got there, I didn't realize it was like we need to get there 2 hours early to find a seat.
And-
it was rough.
My biggest fear in life is getting hit in the face by baseball or softball. Biggest fear, number one fear. Because it could actually happen. Like, I'm also afraid of getting shot, but like, the chances of that are slim because I don't surround myself where that would happen. But baseball,
Yeah.
Nathan Miller a few years ago gave me a batting helmet and I take it to the game. I'm legit afraid.
Nice.
The crack of the bat, I duck, like I freak everybody out around me. I'm not good at baseball games.
Yeah, I am.
So we had to sit, in the back at the softball game also because I am definitely afraid of getting hit by a ball.
But yeah, we're always going to show, like, that's why I'm glad that Hannah and I are friends, because I know I'm never going to have to go to something alone, go to a game alone.
Well, and
Take those long road trips together.
and that's great because I see a lot of teachers, a lot of administrators that even at junior high games and stuff, and it's like that's what this is about.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is what it's about.
It is. That's great. But you guys mentioned Rich Benjamin. That guy's pretty sharp up here too, isn't he?
Yeah, he definitely, he's an English guy, so that's been kind of fun to, there've been a couple times when I'll be like, cause even in class I yell, like I just am a yeller, and like he'll walk by and just kind of look at me, like, cause I'm talking about something relating to English, and like we just kind of like, he gets it, so it's okay, cause
He gives you this?
like just the little, but yeah, he's been like, I mean, it's been an adjustment, right? Like,
I could have swore he was a psych major.
Oh man.
oh, maybe he was. I feel like he, but I feel like,
No, I mean just by the way he talks. Like,
okay.
he is
His
so.
yeah, for sure.
I was saying, and because he reads, like he's
a reader for
well-read
sure. Yeah.
and-
Yeah. Well, I feel like he knows the thought process of the way a team works, and
Yeah,
the
for sure.
championship mindset.
yeah, like he knows. I'll tell you what, he could probably get some kids riled up, like, hey, yeah, coach, we can do anything. That kind of
Like Dan Campbell.
yeah.
Run through a wall for that guy.
Yeah. all of a sudden he's a Detroit Lions.
Just because I like the coach.
I gotta say I was cheering for him too. But
I was cheering for him.
but I picked the Niners anyways.
I literally don't know anything about anything relating to sports, but I wanted the Lions to win because so many kids did not want them to win because of Nolan Quadrer, because he is such a big Lions fan, and they got so tired of him saying Lions win again, and they were like, I hope they lose, and I was like, I want them to win just so Nolan can be like, just so I could like just kind of instigate it a little bit.
I'm really just there for the Usher halftime show. So, I mean, I like some football, but it's not my favorite. So,
What's your favorite?
basketball. Ugh. You know, Indiana State plays at 6 o'clock today. Number one, Missouri Valley Conference.
Yeah, they've got a
in case you
good
wanna
record
know.
this year. They're doing really well.
Yeah.
Now, Tracie, if you had to pick a sport, what would it be?
High school football.
Okay.
I love the consistency. I know that Friday night I'm going to go to a football game. But like with basketball, with baseball, like
All over the
soccer,
place.
There's
it's
so
like,
many.
hey, it's a Tuesday, it's a Saturday, like, and it's like, how do I keep all of this straight? But Friday night, I know what I'm doing in the fall. Like, and it's just that consistency is just, I need that consistency in my life. But yeah, high school football, other sport, anything, like, I don't do college sports or professional sports, but I'll always show up for my students for sports, even if I don't
good.
know
That's
literally
awesome.
That
anything.
is.
Well, but even when they grow up, like you go to their college stuff too.
Yeah, like I've been a handful of times. Like I went to the Wabash DePaul game when Caden Heisman, not last year, but I don't know, like the year before, because that's just fun. Like to see, it was fun to see them again.
Yep.
It was fun to see them play and stuff like that.
Indiana Wesleyan cheerleaders.
Yeah, like
Been to see Lando play, which his interview was so good on here. I almost cried. It was so good.
And that's, how humble is he?
Oh, he's
When
the
he
greatest.
sat there and said, my sister's going to be better than me.
I know, man. And Lincoln Swanner, she's no joke.
that's what. Yeah,
She's so good.
Yeah, Preston McCann's been reffing youth sport, like and he like came back from he came in the hallway one day and we were talking about reffing and he's like, Lincoln Swanner, he was like, she might be like what's the girl, the Iowa girl, Caitlin Clark. He was like, she's like good, like that good. Like he's like, I normally don't like watching girls play basketball, but he was like, she's great.
But Landon always acted like that. Like, even in high school, I would always tell his mom, I would be like, you would have no idea that kid couldn't even play basketball because he is so humble and he would never tell you. Now, he might be talking some trash to the people he's playing with. He'll let you know he's good. But he would never, yeah.
Teddy? I can remember watching Landon in high school. There were times that somebody be defending him pretty good. He'd hit a three and he'd tap that kid on top of the head when he ran back down court.
That's what's so great. That's what you as a teacher, you smile and you're like,
Yeah. So in your careers, we're winding this down. What is your most rewarding memory that you have in your careers? I'm not trying to tug on any heartstrings here, but I'm just asking.
Man, that is just a hard question because I don't know if I could say there's one like, can you think of like just there being one thing?
Well, I'm sure there's multiple.
Yeah.
I mean, you can share multiple if you want.
I'm thinking of one that will happen this year. I just have a student who it makes me teary thinking about this student that I have watched grow up from freshman year till now. This student never would speak, would always have their head down.
Their AirPod,
and I know
they've had
they just had a rough go at things. And this kid now comes to my room and will just say, "Hey, Kikendall," which is not a lot, right? But he doesn't speak much.
I have him first period and I'll say good morning to, he will talk, he says good morning, and I'll tell Hannah, and she, the first couple of days of school when I would told her, he's doing great, she would definitely get she would get emotional about it.
Yeah, and just him coming in now, because he was so shy and quiet that I don't know that he speaks to anyone first. So now when he just randomly will give me a hello, first, that is huge. And I cannot wait, because I worry about what some of these kids are going to do when they graduate. What are they going to do when they don't have anybody to take care of them anymore? And obviously, if you have a great support system, you're going to be fine.
Yes.
But the people that I'm thinking, the student that I'm thinking of doesn't. And he had told me some of his plans for when he graduates. And so I'm like, oh, good. Okay, you've got a plan. You're going to go to the service. You've got, which is perfect for this student, So his growth, that's huge. And when he graduates this year, like, that will be very touching to me.
So you played a part in getting him out of his
Oh, yeah.
shell.
I think Hannah was definitely instrumental in that, because I mean, one, she's pushy, so she's not gonna quit. Like, she's not gonna, do you know what I mean? Like, she's gonna make him talk. And I don't know. I feel like there's no teachers at Mrs. Sinawah that aren't gonna go out of their way to help someone.
Right.
But with this student especially, Hannah is the reason that he'll say good morning to me.
Good.
And that he will write an essay as opposed to just a couple sentences when he was a freshman with her.
Wow.
Well, and I think because there are students who it's easy for them to fall in the cracks because they're not a discipline problem, right? So nobody's
super
yelling
smart.
at this kid like, we got to stay on him, or they're not super smart,
Right.
or they're not super athletic. They're just your average, like I was just some average kid. I wasn't anything, and so I feel like when you are just one of those kids who don't make a fuss, or you're, and he is so quiet that he could have gotten totally forgotten because people just think, oh, well, he's okay. He's just, that's just how he is. So, I don't know. I kind of made it a mission to bug him every day, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Like that, that's a good one.
Speakman, yours?
That's hard. I think just seeing, we spent a lot of time talking about technology, and that's one of the best things about technology is every day I can scroll on Instagram and I can see former students being successful. And so it's not one specific thing, but actually, no, I have it. This past summer, I went to a wedding, and it was 2 former students, and it was a magical wedding. Like, I've gone to former students' weddings before, and like, it's nice, like, but there was just something about this wedding, and it just was so perfect because you could just tell, like, you could just see how in love they were. They are in college. One's already graduated from college. One is a senior. Like, and there were other former students there and current students there, and it was just this moment of like, oh my gosh, like, I'm a part of their life. Like, I get to go to their wedding. Like, it was super cool. And I made all of them that were former students or current students take a picture with me, like, and I have it in my room. And it's just sometimes like, I'm just like, dang, that's awesome. Like, it's awesome to know that I have that kind of influence on people's lives. Woof.
Well,
Gosh dang it, Connor.
And just, I mean, you've probably already had it happen, but, it will. When these kids have been out of school 10 years and they come back for homecoming and they see you guys.
Yeah, we saw Cameron McCreary today.
You taught me this, or
just seeing Cameron every time he comes home and he gives us a hug and a smile, like,
he just came over and gave us a hug.
just went back to watch the game. Like,
that's
those are the things that when I finally hang up my teaching hat, those are the things that I'm going to remember.
Yep.
And those are the things that honestly keep me going, because teaching's a hard gig.
Yeah.
And it gets harder every day and every year. And there are times when I don't know if I can do it anymore, right? Like, I think in every career you have that.
Right.
Like, you just are like, can I keep doing this? Like, I don't know. And then I think about, I think about, like, you know what I mean? And the fact that, like, if I'm having a horrible day, a kid's going to give me a hug.
Yeah.
Or Preston McCann is going to be late to class, and he's going to be like, do you want something from McDonald's? Yes, please. Like, do you
Like you said, like how we notice when our kids are off, our students know when we are.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
And somebody will be like, all right, Kikendall's not having it today. Let's sit and don't. Or be quiet. She's got a headache, or like there are too many people around her desk. Like, she's gonna lose it.
Well, I know that, teachers whether you realize it soon or later, you guys have an impact on kids' lives. I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Childers, who passed away. One of the best teachers I had in high
for
school.
sure.
He made high school for me. Like, I enjoyed going to his class. He was one of those guys that never looked at me any differently, looked at any student any differently. He made sure to get everybody involved, and he was a remarkable teacher. He's going to be missed.
And I think that is super cool because even students that had him like up till when he retired, right? Like, they still talk about how great, I mean, they've all since graduated, but like I saw so many former students post on Facebook, like, he was one of my favorite teachers in high school. Like, I'm going to miss him. And that's the sign. And this sounds super selfish of me, but I mean, I'm an only child, so it's fine. That's my excuse for everything.
Yeah.
But like, that's what like, it's kind of morbid to think about, but like, that's what I want for my life.
Yeah.
That's what
It's going to happen.
Like,
it's going to happen for both of you. You guys are awesome. I could tell, which I've known Hannah a long, long time. But when you look out and you walk in and you see teachers, you can say, "Oh, they got personality. They got I guarantee they're relating to kids. Kids are relating to them." So,
well, I know.
And it's great that you guys are such good friends too, and you guys hang out and stuff. And
Yeah, I don't know. I could not survive without Hannah. Like, I don't know what I did before Hannah came and taught at Mrs. Sinowal. I mean, it was fine. But
we're there to pop into each other's rooms.
Yeah.
Randomly, and the kids are like, and they see it and they think it's funny. They're like,
it just is what it is.
Here she comes. During my prep, I always go in there. I'm like, oh, it's happening. Or I'll sit down and listen to her teach a lesson.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah, she taught a great poetry lesson during football season.
Oh,
And like
that was good. That was good.
Was based around like
them playing football.
Really?
The sectional game. Like, it was inspirational. It was good. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and do this too. And it was a really good lesson. So, again, because I'm a nerd, and so I just like to go learn things.
It's the sisterhood of the traveling teachers.
Yeah.
something like that. You better coin that and
We should.
write a book.
Yeah,
And
I
turn it
mean,
into a movie.
we do kind of share some clothes. Like,
We do.
We
Wow,
have,
that's-
like, I feel like every time I buy a teacher shirt, I buy her a teacher shirt so we can twin.
We do have a lot of.
We do have a lot of matching
We have a
stuff.
dynamic duo shirt.
I've had to throw it away. I got a big stain on it. We'll have to get a new one.
I was like, mine's still hanging out. I've been waiting to wear it.
No, mine got a big stain on it, Hannah.
Because sometimes we host the tribe. They have like a teacher.
Like, teacher edition of Tribe.
Or what is it called?
Tribe
Inside
TV.
MHS.
Inside MHS, that's it.
Yeah. And so we've
hosted
hosted
that.
that
Yeah.
sometimes. So.
Well, thank you, ladies. Me and Teddy, we really appreciate
We
you guys
appreciate what
taking
you
the
do
time.
for all these kids around here.
Thank you.
Most
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
We've really appreciated this is awesome. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
We knew you'd have fun.
Yeah.
I know,
Hannah
like,
Kikendall.
I'm just like, who really wants to listen to us talk
Trust
for an
me.
hour?
But
They,
you just
they
think
will.
they don't
They
get to just
will.
listen; they get to see it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forgot.
No, they don't.
It'll be on YouTube.
Shut up.
So everybody give a warm
I
round
would
of
have
applause
looked cuter.
for Hannah Kikendall and Tracie
Yes.
Speakman. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks, girls. You guys
Thank
did
you.
great.
All right. Later, everybody.
See ya.
It's on YouTube too.